Oh my goodness, can you believe it's another day of matches? So exciting. So, first up is Wales versus Iran. I am hoping for a Wales win. That is ultimately what I want. But this has been a wild World Cup, so we do not know what is going to happen. But that's my hope. I was playing Lord of the Rings online with my sister until like 15 minutes ago as our Thanksgiving celebration together. So I'm just hopping on. The game is about to start, like it's in the 60 seconds before kickoff. Little commercial that they play. So yeah, I just thought I'd update that. I will be working on, unfortunately, it appears there's some pooling in this, but whatever. It's way more noticeable on camera than it is in person. I will be working on that during the game. I might try to work on the MCAL a little bit later. I don't know. I might also try to wind some yarn and possibly start the cuff on one of the Advent socks now that I have one free set of needles. Oops, it's right here. One free set of needles. I might try to finish the cuff, start and finish the cuff for that so that one of the socks will be ready for cast on. We're less than a day from Vlogmas starting, in which I'm thinking I will try to do 2 separate videos, one for the World Cup and one for Vlogmas. So if you're not interested in the World Cup, you don't have to follow any of that to follow the vlog. So anyways, that's just my thoughts. Who knows what's gonna happen? It all just kind of free flows. So in between the games, I will try to edit and get yesterday's vlog uploaded. But yeah, it was a pretty good Thanksgiving, and I am ready for another full day of soccer matches. So I will talk to you guys in a little bit, in which I hope to come and predict and have my hoped for Wales victory. I'm wearing this cute, isn't it cute? Now that it's Thanksgiving's over, I can wear something Christmassy. The other one, the green one, I call that winter themed, not Christmas, but this is clearly Christmas. So, and it's a bunch of little dogs. I got this at Walmart as well. So anyways, okay, they're here, they're gonna kick off, so I am going to go and enjoy the match. So talk to you guys later. And I am back. So I have got to stop predicting games. I've got to. Someone in my comments, Carrie, I believe, said that I need to predict the England win for the US versus England match because then the US will win. And that's about where we're at right now. That is about where we are at. Here, let me turn off my iPad, get that little glare off. So if you can find it and want to watch it, I would watch this match. There was just so much going on. It was crazy. So it ended 2-0 for Iran. So Iran won. And to be completely honest, it was a deserved win for Iran. Wales was not playing up to par. They were not playing how well I know that they can play. And they kept giving the ball away. Like, it was almost like they were aiming for the Iran player because they just gave the ball away so often. It was ridiculous. But so in the 15th minute, there was an Iran goal ruled offsides from VAR. I didn't catch the player's name. That should have been the wake-up call for Wales. I mean, it really should have been. They did okay-ish in the first half. Iran was still the better team, but they did okay-ish. The second half was a complete mess. Complete mess. Like, I can't even, I don't even know what to say. There's no excuse. To make I thought their goalkeeper, the Wales goalkeeper, was having a pretty good match. He made several saves, and then in the 85th minute, he got a red card for a reckless foul. And this is another case of VAR overturning the on the field calls. Was it a red card offense? Possibly, probably even. However, it also, like, it wasn't the worst of red card offenses, to be honest. Like, the goalkeeper was late in his challenge, and he was out of the box, and he had a high foot. But, man. So he was given a yellow initially, and then the VAR reviewed it, and they called the referee over, and then the yellow got turned into a red. And so Wales were down 10 men for the last, well, it would have been 5 minutes, but then there was 9 minutes added, and then there was like an extra 2 more minutes on top of that 9, so like almost 20 minutes. Wales' backup goalkeeper is a very experienced player. He is actually the goalkeeper that was there during their not their World Cup, their Euros run. I think they made it to semifinals that year. But because I think the other goalkeeper was injured at the time, if I'm remembering correctly. So Danny Ward was the goalkeeper at that time. And then Wayne Hennessy, though, is their main goalkeeper. And he... oh, jeez. Well, anyways... It's just so terrible. It's so terrible. Getting a straight red card means he misses the next match. I don't know if it means he would miss the match after that if they progress further in this competition. I don't know. But, so when a player gets a straight red card, or even 2 yellows in the same match, that makes it 2 yellows become a red. If it's in the same match. That means that your team goes down a player. However, so Wales had to make a substitution, and the substitution is allowed before play continues for a goalkeeper. Because, not having a goalkeeper. It's been done before, not having a goalkeeper. One of the outfield players then has to take on the role of goalkeeper. And so sometimes you'll see outfield players training with the goalkeepers, and that's because of a situation like this. I'm sorry, a weird news flash just came on the TV. Something about Europe having its first para-astronaut, but I don't know what that means. I'll look that up later. Anyways, yeah, so if Wales had used all their substitutions already, they would have been forced to have an outfield player then play the rest of the match as the goalkeeper. In Germany, Thomas Muller has trained a few times, and I think there was but I don't know that Neuer's gotten a straight red, so I don't know when it happened, but I feel like I saw Thomas take the goalkeeping mitts in a match before. Maybe it was an injury and they'd already used all their substitutions. I mean, that's possible too. Anyway, so there are situations in which an outfield player has to be the goalkeeper, and so you have to practice and train for that and be prepared. But luckily for Wales, they were able to bring on an experienced goalkeeper. Unfortunately for Wales, that didn't matter. In the 98th minute, Chashimi scored for Iran. And it's like, I mean, at that point, they literally only needed to hold on for 2 more minutes. Just hold on for 2 more minutes, and you could have walked away with 1 point. But no, they had to, turn over the ball and stuff like that. I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous. And then you think, okay, well, yes, we're going to lose, but hopefully we can keep our goal differential down, right? Just have to hold on literally for 1 more minute. Well, I guess 2 actually, because of extra added time. Could they do that? No. They had to the ball got turned over again, and in the 100th minute and 30th second, Ramin scored for Iran, and it became 0-2, which means that Iran could possibly still progress out of this group, even after a 6-2 loss shellacking to England. They have to play the U.S. still, and the U.S. and England still have to play later today. So, oh gosh, there's just I hate this World Cup. There's just so much bad stuff happening to my favorite teams. So, yeah, that is the Wales-Iran game. Iran deserved the win. I'll be honest, they deserved it. They were the better team on the day. So, the next match today is Qatar versus Senegal. I want to say that Senegal is going to win. I want to say it because they're the better team, because I lived in Senegal, because they should win. But I am cursing teams, apparently. I'm going to say it anyways. This could be the one that really proves me. I'm going to predict a Senegal win. I'm going to say Senegal can do it. And we will see. We will see. I will be back here in 2.5 hours, either to show you how much of a terrible predictor I am, or maybe to have gotten it right and broken my streak. Anyways, as for crafts during the game, I decided my husband was still awake, so that's a time when I could possibly be a tiny bit louder. So I decided to wind all the balls that I needed to wind, or all the skeins I needed to wind in preparation for the start of Vlogmas. So I did the 2 mini skeins for my 1 sock advent. For the other sock advent, I was able to successfully wind the skeins without looking because I was staring at the TV. And so luckily nothing happened, no snags or anything. I do know the starting color and I know the ending color, like pink and purple. But I do not know the in-between colors because I didn't have to look, and I managed to not look, which means that this year I'm actually going to have surprises and not to have kind of cheated like I have in the past. Hi, Amy. Oh, she senses we are sad about the loss. I am getting kisses. I don't know why you're doing lip bites, though. Anyways, I am only, like, moderately sad about the loss because, I mean, I wanted Wales to win, clearly. It's not all over for them. A lot will depend on what happens today in England versus USA, and then what happens in USA versus Iran and Wales versus England. I'd say probably, and I am not saying this for certain, but probably England will progress in first place. So then it becomes a battle for that second place spot. And if England beats the United States today, then it really is all up in the air. Any of them could then progress. Because that would put Iran on 3 points. And an England win over... Sorry, I almost didn't on purpose flick you off. But, are you okay? an England win over Wales and a United States win over Iran would see the United States go forward. Conversely, a Iran win would see them going forward regardless of whether England or Wales won. Wales could progress with a U.S. win versus Iran, a Wales win over England. I mean, it is possible for any of the teams still. No one was eliminated. No one was eliminated today. It's still possible for everyone. Is it? Yes. Because I'm thinking if the U.S. wins against England, would it be possible for Wales to still progress? And it would. That would put the U.S. on 4. Wales would have to win decidedly against England. Well, not even decidedly, actually. If the U.S. beats England and Wales beats England, England gets eliminated. So anything is possible. We will have to see what happens in today's match, last match, before I make any more kind of progressions and bore you guys with too much math. So, yeah. So I was talking about winding skeins. So I wound the 2 sock mystery skeins, and I wound 3 of my DK weight socks for, skeins for the Bakery Bears mystery knit along that happens in December, their Advent pattern. It's just it's not like other Advents where you have the 12 skeins or the 24 skeins or 25 in some cases. It's a case of every other day leading up to Christmas, a small part of a pattern is released. So, well, here I have one actually. So this was actually one that was 10 pattern. So every other day, starting I think on day 3 or 4, a pattern part was released, and that made this cowl. Last year's was a sock one, and I haven't made that one yet. I have downloaded the pattern. Actually, that was the a little bit was sticking out, and a baby would have gotten that and snagged it for sure. But the M cowl skeins, I actually had intended those for the Bakery Bear last year's Advent, and then I didn't do it because it was turning out where she had one color's main color was the other sock's contrast color, and I need things to be the same. Like I need the same contrast colors, the same sock color, the same, all of that the same. I can't do these 2 different socks. It just doesn't work for me. So once I decided that, I was like, well, I just want to use one of my sock sets, like one of the Christmas ones, and I just didn't start it yet. So I do have plans to do it this year. But anyway, so yeah, that's what happened. I knit a very, very tiny bit on this sock. I didn't make it yet to the heel, but I'm about 10 rounds away, I think. So I should make it in the next match. But I wanted to do some winding while I could. And then I also moved a couple of projects out of some project bags so that I could do that. But I still need to definitely finish those project bags because I'm going to need 1 or 2 of them. I think at least 2 of them for Advent projects. Ooh, excuse me. My stomach went all grumbly. So yeah, if my husband comes upstairs and goes to bed, because I think he's watching TV and he usually falls asleep in front of the TV, if he goes up to sleep, I might go downstairs and try to finish those project bags, or at least work on them during the matches. If not, then I'll probably continue on the sock, and I need to cast on the cuff for the other sock for the start of Sockmas. So that's what's going on, and yeah, I will talk to you guys in about an hour, and I will spend the next, well, I mean 2 hours. I'll spend the next 30 minutes working on editing the last video. Sorry these are so long. Bye. Okay, Qatar versus Senegal is over, and wow, was that match active. Especially, again, the second half. I don't know what it is this time, this World Cup, but it's all about the second half. I mean, you could probably just skip first halves and still get the gist of the game. So, let's see. Let's go back to the beginning of my notes. And in minute 35, there was a possible penalty for Qatar that should have been VAR reviewed. The commentators on the match that I was watching said that a penalty should have been given, which just goes back to my whole point that I've said multiple times, and you guys are probably sick of hearing. But VAR is not the be-all, end-all that some people make it out to be. There are still errors, so I don't see the point in introducing technology when there are still errors involved. Just let it be human errors. Anyways, in the 40th minute, Dia, I am going to butcher pronunciations, just heads up, scored for Senegal, making the score 0-1. About less than 8 minutes after that, Diadhio, definitely did not pronounce that right, scored for Senegal from a corner. It was a really beautiful goal, making the score 0-2 for Senegal. Oh, I say less than 8 minutes, but also, like, actually it was better to say 3 minutes into the second half, because that was scored after the halftime break. In just about the 78th minute, Mentari scored for Qatar. Now, this guy is interesting because he's a naturalized citizen for Qatar. He was originally born in Ghana, and I don't know, that seems kind of questionable to me, that you can become a naturalized citizen for a country and then represent that country, because then it becomes kind of like, who can bribe a person to change their citizenship? If you've already played for a national team, you become ineligible. I do know that for soccer. I know it's different for the Olympics, but anyways, I still think that that's kind of questionable. And apparently the Qatari team, has several players who have become naturalized citizens. Regardless, however, this is the first goal that has ever been scored for Qatar at a World Cup. So that was pretty exciting for them. The fans erupted, and for a few minutes they played with the belief that they could turn this thing around. And Qatar played much better today than they played in their first match. They did look more threatening for large spells. It was a really good match. In the 83rd minute, however, Dieng scored for Senegal, making it 1-3, and just basically killed any of their hopes of being able to come back in the match. So that's how it ended, 3-1 for Senegal, which puts right now, before the next match is played, 3 teams in that group sitting on 3 points. So the shape of this group is going to come down. It's going to come down to the final match, and even today's match will change things, because both the 2 teams playing next will be the two teams that, it's Netherlands and Ecuador, and they both won their first game. So who wins, or if it's a draw, will really affect things. So at the end of that match, I will come back and recap like where things stand in the group and who has a chance. Sorry, oh my gosh. I don't know that Qatar can officially be ruled out today unless Ecuador and Netherlands tie. If they have a tie, then they each gain a point, and that will put them at 4 each, and the most Qatar could get was 3. So if it's a draw, Qatar for sure out. If it's not a draw, then if Qatar have like the most highest scoring match ever, they could possibly overcome and go on, but that would be like a long shot. I mean, the chances of them getting out of this group are basically nothing at this point. But anyways, okay, so that brings us to the next match. That'll take place in 50 minutes, and that is Netherlands versus Ecuador. Sorry. Oh man. Okay, so I want to say that Netherlands is the favorite going into this match. However, I think in the first round matches, to me, the Netherlands was underwhelming and Ecuador was overwhelming. I don't know. I don't know if overwhelming is necessarily right, but they did play much better than I had expected them to. So I think this will be a really interesting match. I honestly don't know which way it's going to go. Going back to the Senegal game really quick, I meant to say, I've had some thoughts, and maybe eating food related to who I want to win is the wrong way to go. Maybe I should be eating food related to who I want to lose, because so far that's been what's happening. Although I had crumpets in England once, so who knows? Okay. Anyways, just a weird side note. And if you're interested, this is why I brought it up. If you are interested in a dish from Senegal that I think personally is really yummy, and really yummy, and I mean, not too like weird. I didn't like a lot of African food, to be honest. It just was not my cup of tea. But a lot of the missionary kids I grew up with really did like it. However, there is this one dish I loved so much, and it was called yassa poulet, which means onion chicken. And it is like chicken cooked in a ton of onions. I'm talking about a ton, like a lot. And I think it's cooked most of the day, and then you serve it over rice. And it is just so flavorful. It is so delicious. I will try to find a recipe because I don't actually have one, and I've never actually made it myself. But I will try to find a recipe and link it down below in case anyone is interested. And I might actually want to make that myself. Very good. In West Africa, it was very common to have like a saucy meat, like saucy meat kind of situation, but like mainly sauce with just a little bit of meat, and to serve that over rice. Rice was very, very commonly eaten over there, and that is because it is a very poor country, and so you could serve a big, decent size serving of rice for very little money, and then just put a little bit of a sauce on top and be able to feed your family. So rice was very common. And anyways, so yeah, I will try to put a recipe for yassa poulet, and maybe if I can find a picture, I'll put a picture of what it looks like. Why are they showing someone's barefoot? I don't understand what's happening at this moment. I started editing yesterday's video. I haven't finished yet, so I'm going to work on that during the rest of this half. time in between games. I did finish the leg of this sock. I really like it. It's a pretty pattern. This is another Bakery Bears pattern. And I might try to do the heel during this next match. Anyways, so I'll catch up with you guys at the end of it. Bye. Well, that match is done. Today has been a very dramatic, high energy matches. It's been interesting. Anyways, so Netherlands versus Ecuador ended in a 1-1 draw, which means that Qatar has officially become the first country to be eliminated from the World Cup. Since both Ecuador and the Netherlands now have 4 points and Qatar has 0, it's mathematically impossible for them to progress. Senegal still has a chance in that group. I mean, basically, it will come down to, it's all in Senegal's hands. Basically, if they can beat Ecuador in this next match, then they will progress. If they can't beat Ecuador, then most likely they will not. It really depends on if Qatar manages to beat Netherlands. That would hold Netherlands at 4 points, in which case a draw against Ecuador could see Senegal go through and the Netherlands miss, depending on the goal differential. It really just depends on score lines. So Senegal's not out of it. But Qatar is. So first team to be eliminated from the World Cup. The match started out within 5 minutes. Gakpo scored for the Netherlands. And I was like, okay, the Netherlands have shown up. They are going to boss this and show that they really are all here and all of that. No, that is about when their dominance ended. And Ecuador was like, hold up. We're here. We're going to show our stuff. And that first match in which we beat Qatar 2-0, but totally completely bossed the whole thing, was not a fluke, and that's who we are. And so, Ecuador was the better team playing. So their final match is against Senegal, which is harder than the Netherlands' final match against Qatar. But if I were to say at this point, I don't know. I mean, if Senegal could beat Ecuador, but Ecuador is, I think, the highest performing group right now country right now in their group. So that's going to be harder probably than the Netherlands match, in which I thought Senegal played really well. The Netherlands just hasn't been playing as well as I thought that they would, but because their final match is against Qatar, I think they have the best chance of progressing. But that is not how the run of play in this group should have indicated. Anyways, so in the 5th minute, Gakpo scored for the Netherlands. Then just before halftime, like literally just before halftime, seconds before, a goal was called offsides for Ecuador. The Ecuador players did not agree with this. It was a tiny bit of a controversial, like technically it was a right call, but it was like a tiny bit controversial because the player that was called offsides wasn't actually involved in the goal. However, he was impeding the vision of the goalkeeper and thus the defense. And that's why it was technically offsides, but it was a kind of controversial one. And the Ecuador player really disagreed with that call. He asked the referee about it, and then his reaction was like, what? Anyways, so then come less than 4 minutes into the second half, Valencia, who scored for Ecuador in the last match, he equalized it 1-1, and the rest of the match, no one scored, but you really felt like at any moment Ecuador was going to score again, and the Netherlands were lucky to come out of that with a draw, to be honest, but that's the way it is sometimes. So I'm gonna stop this now, go get changed into one of my patriotic t-shirts, and come back for the preview of the next match, which is England versus the United States. So I'll be back soon. Okay, I am back, and this time I am wearing this patriotic t-shirt because it says 1776 on it, and that's when we gained our independence from this nation that we are playing against. And you know what? We were the underdogs then, and we are the underdogs today, and we beat them then, and we can beat them today. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. The stakes aren't as high, you know? But, oh man, you should see their warm-up t-shirts. They're so funny looking. But anyways, all that to say is, you know what? No one thought that Saudi Arabia could beat Argentina, but they did, and we can beat England. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's be positive. I'm wearing my American beads, and I'm just gonna hope for the best, that America beats England. And unlike when America played Wales, I don't have any lingering desires for success for England. I'm not a fan of England. The England national team. Well, actually, you know what it is? Mainly it's the fans in the stadium, the English supporters, because I find them quite rude quite a few times in quite a few of the matches that I watched. So, therefore, I don't support the national team just because of, I mean, they have booed during other countries' national anthems. I complained about this during the 2018 World Cup, and I just find that so disrespectful and so rude. And so it's because of things like that that I just can't really support the England national team. And I'm sorry if you're an England watcher and that is disappointing for you, but I mean, come on, you know that your country does this during matches, and it really is rude. Like, I don't remember what two countries they did it against last time that it really bothered me. But it really bothered me. I think one of them might have been the match against, hang on, just going back a couple of pages. Was it against Ukraine or Denmark, maybe? The match against Denmark? Anyways, I just find it rude, and I don't like it. You know, you don't have to support the other team, but you can keep quiet during their national anthem. So, that's just my thoughts and feelings on that, and why I can't ever really support the English national side. So, getting back to this match, it is a long shot. It is a long shot for America to win, but gonna keep hopeful. If we can beat England, there is a good chance that we can go through. Iran did have a good match today, and that is the last country we play, but fingers crossed we can do it. As a reminder, this is the hardest group on paper, the hardest group in the World Cup. Each of the 4 countries are ranked in the top 20 in the FIFA rankings, and that is not the case for any other of the groups. So this is statistically the hardest group, and so fingers crossed we can do it. So, that being said, I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about aside from that. So, I brought up with me a bottle of Cheerwine. I've mentioned this several times. Here on the West Coast, I can only find this in a few specialty stores. And so when I do, I usually buy like 3 or 4, and then I spread out drinking them because, well, for one thing, they're not 0 sugar. So I shouldn't be drinking them at all with my diabetes. But 2, it's hard to find, and so it really is just like a special treat. So I will be enjoying this special treat because it is an American drink, and I will be drinking it while we hopefully drink the blood of the British. Just kidding. I don't know what's taken over me today. I don't know. I haven't even taken any medicine, so I can't even blame that. The second thing I wanted to talk about is I did not share my craft progress at the end of the last match, which I was going to. So I finished the heel and I picked up the gusset stitches, and I have to say, unfortunately, that there are several mistakes here. For one thing, I purled over the number of stitches for the small size sock instead of the medium size sock, which meant that my heel is not exactly centered. By the time I realized that, though, I had done a lot. I had decreased a lot of stitches, and I was not gonna tink back like, I don't know, 15 rows. So I just went with it. And then when I was picking up the first set of stitches, there was like 2 extra stitches to pick up, 18 instead of 16. So I had to pick up extra stitches on this side. And then on the other side, there was only 16 stitches there to pick up. So I had to go back and force in 2 extra stitches just so I could make it all even on both sides. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit frustrated right now with this particular sock. However, I really hope to knit through all of the decreased stitches during this match, so that this is just going to be in a place now where I can finish knitting on it very simply without a lot of thought. So I'm really happy with my progress on this. I am hoping that either, today is Friday, today is not Saturday, but so I am hoping I can finish this maybe on Sunday, which would be awesome for in terms of prepping for Vlogmas. So I called the storage unit just a few minutes ago, and they said that they're open today, which I thought that they were closed on Black Friday, so thank goodness they're open. So after this match is done, I'm going to run out to our storage unit, and I'm gonna pick up I don't know that I'm gonna bring back all of the boxes of Christmas decorations. I think I'm just gonna look for the 1 or 2 that has stuff for in here. Like, there's no point in having the box with ornaments here at the house until we actually have our tree. So so I can wait on that. And I don't know how much of the rest of the house I'm gonna decorate yet. I might save some of that more for Vlogmas. Although, to be honest, our house is a big mess, so you will not be seeing a lot of the interior of the house aside from the craft room. It's just with 11 dogs right now, and with the number of litters that have gone through, they have not been very good about going on the potty, so our carpet is stained, which it's old carpet, and we were never going to be able to sell the house with this carpet because we just couldn't, in my opinion. My husband thought we could, but we couldn't. And I have been telling him our whole, marriage that I do not want carpet. And this is why, is because when it's not on carpet, it's easy to see where the potty messes are and to clean them up. It's not so hard to clean up a little puppy pee-pee on the tile or the laminate or whatever. But this is not the case with carpet. For one thing, it sinks immediately down into the carpet, and you can't even see it at that point. It's not until it has dried and then risen that you see it. And at that point, it's too late. It's stained. So our carpet is a mess. It's embarrassing. But yeah, so I'm just hoping that someday soon we will replace it, because we've talked about moving and potentially moving next year. So yeah. Anyways, so I want to go and make, well, this room will be my like Christmas haven basically. And so I want to go get the Christmas stuff and then be able to start rearranging however I'm going to need to have this set up with my various advent calendars. And I'm gonna try to film some of that. So I want to be able to have not so high pressure on the day before Vlogmas starts. So I want to start filming it over the next couple of days so I can piece it together in a video and put it up the day before Vlogmas. I am going to try to keep my Vlogmas and my soccer videos separate. I recognize that's going to be a lot more work for me. But I just think that for you guys, the viewers, it will be nicer because I don't think that there are a lot of people watching my soccer content, and that's totally understandable. This is not a soccer channel. It is a crafting channel. And so me talking about soccer during like half of Vlogmas is not, I don't think it's appropriate for how I envision my channel. So I will be doing 2 separate videos where I talk about the soccer, and I'll show like little snippets of my crafts, but the main talking about my crafts and advents will be done during the Vlogmas videos. So that is in my head what I am planning on doing. Of course, what time allows, especially with the new job, which still doesn't have a start date because it still all depends upon that fingerprinting timeline. Like, I'm not worried about the fingerprinting at all. I know my own history. I know that there's nothing to hide or nothing for them to uncover. So I'm not worried about that. It's just how long it's going to take until I can start. And then schools stop on the 15th of December. So even if that gets processed really quick, I mean, I've got maybe a week to get trained before it's Christmas break. And I do know that they are hoping to train before Christmas break because they're having some turnover. The principal of this school is going to be the principal of a new school that was just built, and the vice principal is now going to become the principal. And there's something involving the librarian, which is the reason why this position was open. I don't know if the vice principal was the librarian or what the whole situation is there, but I do know that there's turnover going on, and they want everyone to be trained and ready for come the start of the new, not new school year, the new semester, which begins, I believe, the 4th of January. So you don't have much time once the new year is begun before school starts, but that's totally fine. So I really, a lot is up in the air, and so I'm excited, but at the same time, like, I was okay with my life without working. Yeah, so whatever, it is what it is. Maybe I get to subscribe to a fabric subscription now and not just put all my craft money into yarn. Anyways, that's enough rambling. So as I was saying, I'm going to stop by the storage unit, and hopefully I'll have the energy to do a few Vlogmas getting ready things today. Someone did post it, but I had the idea like a couple days before, and that is to wrap the boxes that the advents came in wrapping paper. so that you can have it like displayed and looking all festive and everything, but you don't have to move it from the package that it came in. And the reason I was thinking about doing it that way is because I think that these this year's Advents came packaged really beautifully, and I don't actually really want to disturb that. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna try to do that, cut the top off and then wrap around. I think it'll be pretty, hopefully it'll come out like my vision has in my head. Things don't always work out that way for me, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, so then I'm hoping to be able to display things. I need to clear off that and that a bit, and just start setting up Advents because we're a week away, less than actually at this point. So yeah, with that said, I am going to stop this here and turn back on the video and get ready for the match. United States versus England. Let's go, USA. Although actually I think that they have it England versus the United States. You have to keep those in order because that's how then the score is displayed. So yep, England versus the United States, and I am rooting for America for reals this time. And I will talk with you guys in about 2.5 hours. Bye. Okay, the game is over and it ended in a 0-0 tie. I should probably start predicting ties every once in a while, or draws, whatever you want to call them. But I don't find that as fun to predict just games ending that way, so I always predict winners and losers. But I think this is oh man, why did I even start that sentence when I didn't have it, the answer for sure? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang on. 5, 6, 7. Okay, I think this was the 7th tied game that we've had in the World Cup so far. And that's crazy. Absolutely madness. Wow. Okay, anyways, so it was a good game. We did a good performance, we being the United States of America. And England had a great game too. If you can find a replay of this game, really watch this one. It was so open. At any moment, it seemed like either team was going to score. Like, I am surprised that neither team scored. The American goalkeeper, fantastic. He did so good. Matt Turner, I believe is his name. I know it's Turner for sure. I could be wrong about the first name, but because I'm just going off like the top of my head. But it was such a good game. So much so that I barely got any decreases done on my sock. So yeah, that's for sure did not happen. But I'm so proud of the American team, the boys. It all will come down. Now we'll have to talk about tomorrow, the next round for this group, because it all will come down to the final game. So as it stands right now, the standings are England in first with 4 points, Iran in second with 3 points, US in third place with 2 points, and Wales in last place with 1 point. And it is going to come down to this final game. Iran versus USA. If the United States can beat Iran, they will go forward. That will give them 5 points, and that will be more like then Iran will have lost, so they won't gain any points, so they'll still be at 3. And Wales, the most they could have is 4. The most England could have is 7, but the least that they could have is 4. So if America wins the game versus Iran, we will be going forward. So our fate is squarely in our hands. it comes down to us getting it done. So that's really exciting. Like, I really did think that there was no way that we could come out of this not losing. And we did. So I am ecstatic about our success. Even if it wasn't a win, it was still a good outcome. On the first page here, you can see I have struck out Qatar because they have been eliminated. They still have to play one more match, but they've been eliminated. There's no way that they can move forward. Group B is still open. It will all come down to that final match for Group B. So tomorrow, let's move on to tomorrow's games are from Group C and D. So the first game at 2 a.m. for me is Tunisia versus Australia. See, Tunisia held Denmark to a 0-0 outcome. So my guess is they'll probably beat Australia. Oh, sorry. Australia was doing okay-ish until they conceded. So there's hope for Australia, but my guess is Tunisia will probably take that match. We'll see. I hope for Australia's sake that they're able to win, because I think a commentator said that they've never won a World Cup match. So it would be nice for them to win and not lose. The 5 a.m. game is Poland versus Saudi Arabia. So, sorry. So Saudi Arabia managed to beat Argentina. So they probably will be going into this match feeling like maybe they can do it. If they win this game, I think mathematically there's no way that they don't go through. Poland was not as strong as I would have hoped. Mexico, Poland ended 0-0. So, oh, sorry. Oh, man. Jeez. I'm still gonna predict a Poland win, but it would be crazy if Saudi Arabia managed to, beat Poland. The next match is France versus Denmark. Oh, man. I want Denmark to do well, but after that France performance, I just don't know. I don't think. But there's always that chance. So I am going to say France will win, but I am going to hope that Denmark wins. So, yeah. Then the final match of the day, is Argentina versus Mexico. Now, I think if Argentina loses this match, that they're eliminated. I don't think that there's any way they can make it out of the group if they lose this match. So this is a must win for them. It is also a redemption story for them, considering they were eliminated. So I expect Argentina to come out fighting. However, I don't think that Mexico is just going to, be like, oh, it's Argentina, and just collapse. I think they'll put up a fight. So I think Argentina will win. Sorry, but I wouldn't be surprised for a draw or if somehow Mexico manages to pull it out. So those are tomorrow's matches. We will see what actually happens. For now, I am going to end this video recap and see if I can quickly go to the storage unit. I am pretty tired, so after that I'll probably need to take a nap. But yeah, today's matches were so entertaining. I think this was possibly the most entertaining set of matches. The Wales, Iran won, Netherlands, Ecuador, Qatar, Senegal. Senegal was really fun to watch. And then England versus USA, which was so good. So, I still need to put the links to the recaps down for yesterday's game. I'll need to edit this one, but I think I gotta take a nap before I edit this one. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and until then, I hope you're having a fantastic Black Friday. Bye. Jamie and I are getting into soccer here in our muddy backyard. Jamie James, are we okay? You have to move. Move. You have to move. Brings it back. And drops it. Okay, move, Jamie. Good boy. Okay, no, Jamie. Move. James, move. Well, you can't pick it up, you know. There you go. Good boy.